Welcome back. And to start with our first segment for today, as we mentioned, we have several important economic issues to be discussed. Of course, talking about the small and medium enterprises exchange as well, the new strategy to be adopted, and many other things. I will not talk more about it. Just first, allow me to welcome my guest today, Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics at Shams University. Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us.
Good morning.
So I would like to start first of all by the importance of the small and medium exchange. In addition, of course, that now we have monitoring system, Tamayuz, and how far is this important as well?
Actually, Nashwa, I agree with you about the importance of the events that happened yesterday. The Prime Minister attended the stock market yesterday to prove to how extent, there is a support from the government to our stock market. We all know that the stock market is a very important tool to finance the economy and to reflect, the economic situation of any country. Unfortunately, our stock market so far hasn't played such a role efficiently enough due to several reasons, and nowadays we are trying to mainstream SMEs into the stock market. Why? What is the importance of such a step? The importance is that SMEs nowadays in Egypt is gaining momentum from the President Sisi that announced a very important initiative to support SMEs, and from actually the situation of Egypt nowadays, we cannot achieve our goals without an active role of SMEs. Like we would like nowadays to implement the structural reform which is going to strengthen on the real economy, and we have very good potentialities for expansion in the manufacture and the agriculture and the information technology sectors. These three sectors have been announced as the engine of growth and the leading sectors that are going to lift the economy nowadays. And by improving the competitiveness in these three sectors, I believe this could be a very important goal to enlarge choices and opportunities of job for the majority of Egyptians. This is a very important goal for the government, because this is important to achieve social security, to support, increasing income, and from here it comes that supply and demand can be playing an active role in order to increase the rate of growth. So from here it comes that due to the strengthening on these three sectors, the role of SMEs is gaining momentum. And there are nowadays millions of opportunities for SMEs, either as for going towards export, or by enlarging the the components produced at Egypt, local production in Egypt. And the mega project had added to that and supported the potentialities of enhancing the utilization of our resources in different, in these three sectors, like we can improve, the competitiveness of the main industries that we have a comparative advantage, like ready-made garments, like food industries, like pharmaceuticals that prove to be quite important nowadays and gaining momentum with COVID-19. So nowadays, the concentration of SMEs as engine of growth of Egypt needs finance. And beside the finance that has been, provided by our banking sector has been quite active during the last period to support SMEs. But besides that, a very important source of finance is the stock market. And the event of yesterday was dedicated to open opportunities for the finance through the stock market.
We have always talked before about the monitoring system, and this is one of the most important things actually as well when we talk about tamayuz and how to follow if there is something wrong, to have
Yes.
a contingency planning, as we used to say,
Yes, yes.
many important things.
Yes. You know, this is quite important. Why? Because we would like to guarantee the success of such event. Guaranteeing the success of such event needs a monitoring tool to be used efficiently. And Tamayuz is the monitoring rule, which means that since we are dealing with SMEs and we would like to monitoring what's happening to the performance, and we need more data and information about the economic situation of such firms and companies, and from here it comes, this is the role of Tamayuz. It's a very important tool to monitor the situation and to offer information for those who would like to have opportunities of investing in the stock market. So I believe this is a very important tool to be used, and it could guarantee, hopefully, inshallah, the success of financing SMEs through the stock market.
Talking also about the report that was released as well, and Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli also tackled this, and talking about the performance of Egypt in attracting foreign investments. How do you see this so far, and its impact on the Egyptian economy?
Actually, Egypt needs foreign direct investment to a large extent due to several reasons. The first reason is the transfer of technology, because our banking sector is quite capable to finance, and has a very good potentiality to do that. But the role of foreign direct investment and multinational companies, as it has been proved in several successful experiences in China and South Korea and so on, transferring technology and opening international markets may be very important, and cooperation with multinationals can play a significant role. In order to do that, we need, number one, to have a vision regarding why we need multinationals besides a source of finance, because Nashwa, that we have a gap in our finance. The rate of saving is quite minimal in Egypt. It's just 6%. And so there is here a shortage of sources of finance, and from here it comes the importance of foreign direct investment, besides transferring technology, training our labor, and so on. So we need to have a vision, number one, regarding which type of foreign direct investment we need to attract, since the majority of foreign direct investment in Egypt nowadays oil and gas. This is not bad, but at the same time we need to diversify the multinational coming in information technology, in manufacture sector, in agriculture. The role of multinationals in mining and agriculture still very minimal. Despite that we need in mining, for example, we need multinationals because mining in Egypt is gaining momentum, since we need to enhance the role of manufacture sector, and mining could be a very important to provide raw materials for manufacturing sector. So from here it comes that it's quite important to attract foreign direct investment. As a report of UNCTAD mentions that Egypt succeeded to attract $5.9 billion 2020, and this is the first recipient African countries in this matter. This is quite good, but as economist, when I'm thinking about this figure, I'm thinking about the potentialities versus the reality. And when we look in this way, we can find that there is a lot, we can attract more than that. So we need to address our climate of investment. And the only way you can do it, and the easiest way to do it, is to refer to doing business. Doing business index can reflect for you, the atmosphere and the attractiveness of Egypt for foreign direct investment. Still, at the same time, multinational companies in Egypt are suffering a lot. So we need to address the problems of multinational in Egypt, to specify their complaint and to address these complaints properly. This should be quite an important goal by the government. Besides, doing business index is mentioning some challenges that we need to address properly, such as dealing with taxes. Still problems of investors to deal with taxes. The second point, which is severely, a complaint by multinationals trading across borders, the role of customs union, the role of customs. And I believe that the government has taken significant steps to address this problem. Nowadays, we have a new law, the green, we have a green list in which the company can specify the importation before coming to our borders. And then if all the procedures are done properly, we can save time, because when you have your import taking a long period of time and being treated differently by different ports, this is completely wrong regarding how you are dealing with investors. And from here it comes that nowadays we can witness significant effort done by the government in order to address such challenges. So, this is quite important, and I believe that, inshallah, after COVID-19, I expect that foreign direct investment, is going to increase in Egypt. Why? Because Egypt is a land full of opportunities of investment with very high profitability. And from here it comes, if you ease the atmosphere of investment, I believe, and with all the mega projects that allowing Egypt for very profitable investment, I believe that we need more promotion, more addressing these multinationals and explaining to them the opportunities that we have, and hopefully, inshallah, we can attract more than the $5.8 billion.
Definitely, we can see all these efforts exerted by the government whenever we're talking about projects or small and medium enterprises, and all these facilities provided to attract more direct and indirect, of course, foreign investments. If I'm talking about the report of the IMF as well, and now Egypt reached the level that we are ready for the third tranche of the loan, that is $1.6 billion US dollars. So how do you see this? And definitely this is also can be a message.
Yes, we have a very good relation with IMF after the economic reforms that took place in 2016 for 3 years, and in which Egypt liberalized the exchange rate. I believe that we have technical support by the IMF, and the IMF, with their experts, very good experts in IMF, they are monitoring our economic policies, to specifically macroeconomic policies, because they cannot offer such type of facilities without monitoring to how extent the economy is doing well. And after COVID-19, Egypt, asked for standby arrangement, $5.7 billion. And the 1.6 is the last tranche of this standby arrangement, and we are expecting to have it immediately. Why? Because we had a revision from the mission of IMF, in which these experts, they revise the economic situation in Egypt, and they had some comments that are quite important to be taken into consideration by our policymakers. these comments are quite important, and we all know as economists about this comment and these challenges confronting the Egyptian economy. First of all, we are doing quite well, and we managed to address properly COVID-19 so that we have achieved a rate of growth 2.8 compared to other countries of the world that achieve a negative rate of growth. But still we have challenges to be addressed properly. And this is what have been mentioned by the mission of IMF. First of all, we need to enhance the role of private sector. Still, the role of private sector is still minimal compared to what can be. So we have to enhance the role of private sector. We have to eliminate obstacles that, confronting the private sector regarding competition in the market, regarding all bureaucracy and corruptions that can be represented as severe obstacles. This is number one. The second challenge is, that need to be addressed regarding macroeconomic stability, the debt. We have severe internal and external debt. And despite that our external debt is safe because that we try to manage the debt regarding the maturity. We have different maturity long-term compared to short-term debt regarding our obligations toward the debt. But still, the figure $129 billion still is very high, compared to our GDP, compared to our export. These indicators, economic indicators, we all know it as economists, can represent a challenge that we have to address properly. And actually, our government and the president actually following our economic performance on a periodical basis. They have nowadays a goal of increasing export towards $100 billion. So this can be quite important, and enhancing tourism nowadays. Tourism is gaining momentum post-COVID. So these activities are quite important, and the internal debt is still very high. Nowadays we are approaching 6 trillion Egyptian pound, which is severe. And another indicator, which is the debt to GDP. So all these indicators have been mentioned by the IMF so that Egypt should work on it. And actually our government is playing a significant role towards addressing these challenges. Hopefully that when we activate productivity, I believe the real economy, as I mentioned, the three sectors representing structural reforms that the government started to do, I believe this, inshallah, can support GDP growth. Egypt can achieve a GDP growth from 7 to 9, if we can use our resources properly. So hopefully for the coming period after COVID-19, we can have a leap regarding our economic progress.
Doctor, talking about all the strategies adopted for the sake of boosting Egyptian economy, and for example, as we were talking about the event of yesterday, the inauguration of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli of the stock exchange for the small and medium enterprises strategies, how far can this support and encourage the idea of moving into small and medium enterprises, whether we're talking about those in this field to move into the formal market, if this is informal, or others to join the market as well?
This is very important. Thank you. Thank you for this very important question. Why? Because we kept several years talking about the role of SMEs in the society. What happened for the last 4 years, enormous actually. Significant steps have been taken towards, facilitating the environment, towards creating, initiatives in order to support SMEs. Still, what we need, Nashwa, is the youth who are going to carry out and benefit from such initiatives. I'm talking to you about that because I am a professor in university, and we have, and I am teaching actually economics of small business, and I have an initiative in our faculty and following what's happening in the Ain Shams University, doing quite well regarding how to enhance the flexibility of labor market, how to outreach our students towards business sector and linking them with the business sector. We have different initiatives in our Ain Shams University in order to support our students for that. But still, efforts are not enough, because we need cooperation between the university and all these institutions. What are the players in the field of SMEs are a lot. You have ministries, different initiatives from different ministries, like like Mashru'ak. If I'm going to talk about the initiatives by ministries, I need a lot of time. So this is from one perspective. From another, you have the NGOs. They have significant role towards enhancing SMEs. The role of university. You have, industrial union. You have chamber of commerce, and so on. So all these are players in the field. But when you mention, my severe headache for the last 25 years, do we have a maestro for all these players?
You don't have one entity for this.
Institutionally, the maestro is our prime minister. Institutionally, and according to the law. But still, our prime minister, he hasn't an institutional capacity specified only to monitoring what's happening regarding, specifying roles and responsibility, monitoring to how extent all these initiatives are harmonized and, towards achieving the goals. And from here it comes that, I am asking my student during my lecture, do you know about this initiative? They don't know anything. I believe this is, apart from them, their responsibility is to follow what's happening and to specify and to plan for their future and to know what they are going to do. This is a very negative part regarding our youth, part of our youth. But still, you need to, increase their awareness. You need to go to their places, you need to go, for example, to the technical schools, because this is a very good, people to be addressed, youth to be addressed. You need to go to the university, you need to go to the center of youth.
We need to approach them.
Yes, properly, and to increase their awareness regarding how they can shape their future. Why our youth is going to talk and this activities that just guaranteeing them a source of money, regardless if these activities are going to build a career for them or no, because they don't have the awareness. If you can increase the awareness through all the channels that you can go to use and address them properly, I believe this can play a significant role towards benefiting from your human capital, because these youth are your human capital. So you have to use it efficiently, and approaching them, in the right direction. I believe this can make a big difference towards supporting SMEs. And another thing, which is, I believe, and I kept saying this for a long time, due to the system of education in Egypt, you don't have entrepreneurs per se, as a definition of entrepreneurs. So you need to refer to a tool that, can address such a defect. This tool is incubators. So I had a lot of studies regarding, analyzing the role of incubators in Egypt. It didn't succeed. I visited several incubators in different parts of the world, in UK, in China, and how they are functioning. I believe incubators can play a significant role if we can, concentrate on it. A third point is the accelerator. Nowadays, accelerator in the law 152/2020 of the SMEs accelerator. Nowadays in Egypt, a lot of businessmen and women, they know quite well that investing in SMEs can be quite profitable for them. So this is the role of accelerator, which is the people that have experience. They can gather with small business without experience and share on a win-win situation to upgrade the situation of SMEs. So accelerating this tools can play a significant role towards having a better role of SMEs in our economic development.
Right. Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics at Shams University. Of course, always a pleasure having you with us on the show. Right. Moving on to a quick break, then we'll be back on The Breakfast Show.